Hello and welcome to the shed. In today's video we're going to be adding a hardwood insert into my dog holes. Since my holdfasts are no longer holding, I need to actually make a smaller hole, so I'm going to add hardwood inserts here, in this case the Jarrah. So let's jump in here and I'll show you exactly what the holdfast is doing and why we need to do this. So these dog holes are supposed to be 3/4 inch, and since this workbench is made out of pine, I think you can already see they move around a lot. Now the way one of these holdfasts works is when you hit it here, you can see it's not holding, but it cams the top against here, and on the bottom it cams to this side, and that's how it holds. This one here, as you can see, the hole has just got too big for the cam to activate, so sorry, I just had the camera go out there. So what I've done is I brought my square in and I've marked a cross hash here and here just to get roughly the center of this. Then I've lined it up on here, grabbed my knife and just run my knife around it like this. So I just held it here, scored around it and penciled it in. So I'm hoping you can see these lines. So we've got one down here, one across here, one across here. It'll be more defined when I start chiseling. So what I'm going to do is start by sort of chiseling against that line, because I need to use those lines as my guide for chiseling. So since I've got a ruddy great big hole in the middle here, I can't really drill any more of this out, so all of this has got to be chisel work. Jump on top of these lines that we've got here and just deepen them a little bit. Not a lot. We just want to define them so they're nice and easy to see. Nice definitive lines is always what you want when you're doing this sort of work. Now we can come back with our chisels, and normally I'd leave the line until later, but in this case I want to chisel a little ridge up against the line because I want to use that as my guide. I don't want to be doing a whole bunch of extra chiseling if I don't need to. So if I can chisel this all sort of on the line to start with, that's what I'm going to do here. Just to save time because of the depth of chiseling I have to do here. Get these fibers to sever here. And now we've got our box that we're working within here. So now we know where we are, we know where all our chiseling's got to go. So one way of doing this, you can go in multiple directions. I find that it's going to be best to go against the long grain, so I'm going to be doing most of my chiseling in those two directions, because I don't want to risk going this way and chipping out going across the grain, because we know when we do rough removal with hand planes and stuff, going across the grain does remove it a little bit easier, but it's going to be more prone to chipping out. So at least for the first little bit, I'm going to do those sideways ones until it gets down a little bit, and then that's no risk. Now, as I get deeper down in here, it's going to be harder and harder, so I'm going to be having to change to a much more steep angle and just chop a lot more of the chip to get it out. Alright, my chisel is just there, went through the bottom now. So I'm going to try and do the same on this side. Through the bottom. And there's the last little chunk that was sitting in the bottom. On the width, it looks like it is going to fit, but it's on the here. So I need to try and pare this edge here or shave back the block. I'm going to try and chisel this if I can. So I've got it sort of angled here and putting pressure back on that so it doesn't ride off. Now that did split off the bottom a little bit. I'm not too worried about that. So since that's still not going to fit easily, and I don't really want to chip any more off the bottom like I just did there, we're going to take a shaving off here. So let's jump over to the vise and do that. What I'm aiming to do here is to friction fit this block in. The idea being that if I ever need to replace it, I can knock it out. I don't really want it glued in there and then I'll have to chisel it out if it ever does wear. Now, if it does start sliding at a later date, then I can tap it out and glue it in, but for now, I'm looking for a nice tight friction fit because it should hold very well in here. So we'll come back here. You see it's still wedging in there. So you can see here, this ridge was formed when I tapped the block in. That's what I just chased on that side, and I've got to chase it down on this side as well. So this is starting to ride in better now. I think if I get a heavier hammer, I can actually tap this in now. So that's what I'm going to do here. Now there's no risk of this splitting because of how wide and thick it is. So we're just going to tap it in. Earplugs are essential. Now remember, this is longer than I actually need, so I could leave it here and cut it off. What I'm going to do is just run it through the bottom. I'll cut it off on the bottom. So we can see that's where it's come through. It has chipped a little bit here. I've actually got that chip. I'm going to glue that back in. This one was already chipped out on this side when I originally made it. So now I can get my square back, and those lines that I had before, I can line them back up if that's exactly where I want the hole to be. Give myself a bullseye. Three-quarter inch. This is supposed to be a 3/4 inch rod. And this is going to make it ever so slightly wider than what this rod actually is. So I'm just going to eyeball it roughly so it's upright. Auger bits like this don't go through end grain the best. So we're going to have to give this a little bit of extra help. It needs a bunch of extra weight pushed on it to actually go through. Now, I might have to go to something else to get through this end grain. So we can see here we haven't quite come through the bottom. So this is still blocked with a bunch of dust at the moment. So I'm just going to clear it off. So we can see That's a much tighter hole for the holdfast versus this one here. If we look at this one, there's just nowhere near the amount of play. So this is going to work well. Let's see if it holds. Still not holding. Let's try the cast holdfast. It is a little more snug. That's holding perfectly. You can see this actually has to climb onto something. It doesn't go down far enough. But this is holding in all directions. So that's telling me that this one is working fine. So you can see there that my cast holdfast held fine, but these rod styles, even though I've done a bunch of work to get them to hold, it looks like I'm going to have to do some more work to them. So I'm going to do a dedicated video on getting these ones to work, so you can see what you have to do if you've got a set of these that are not holding, whether you've done work to them in the past or not. So there you have it, folks. That's how you put a hardwood insert into your bench for either a dog hole or a holdfast. Obviously, there's more need for them to be more solid for a holdfast because there's just more force going through the timber. But as you can see, this has fitted in perfectly and is going to look great. I will end up rubbing a little bit of finish over the top of this, not over the bottom. And sometimes I actually add a chamfer to the edge of these circles, but in this case, because I had to switch from the auger to the Forstner bit, I've actually already got a slight roll over there, so I don't really have to worry about that. So if you like this video, please do like and subscribe down below. While you're down there, do sound off in the comments. Would you have done this a different way to what I did? Let me know. I'm eager to find out if you think that I did this the correct way. And if you'd like to see another great video, such as the one you've seen here today, do check out the video down below where I troubleshoot these holdfasts from Gramercy Toolworks once that video is live. Bye for now.